Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing today on wonderful Wednesday? Today, of course, is another great day to be alive and another gift not only to receive, but to give as well. And yes, you know what Wednesday means? It is Conversations for Humanity. And this is going to be two left before the end of the year. So we have today and next Wednesday. Uh, because can you believe it or not? After next Monday, it'll be the end of the year, would it not? So it is going to be mind boggling in and of itself. Time has flown by. But again, we're just so humbled and honored to have each and every single one of you here with us today on Wonderful Wednesday. Our special guest will be joining us very soon, and we can't wait for have her on the show to come share her story. And Alaina is just one amazing person, and she's got a great story to share and to tell in and of itself. So we'll be getting the conversation started here in just a little bit. But again, we're just so humbled and honored that we can come to you live every Wednesday and also Tuesday and Thursday and Friday on our LinkedIn audio calls on those days. And we will love to hear more from you on those calls. So if you'd like to join those calls, please watch my personal page and also watch our business page and follow it to get the latest updated events, live streams, conversations, community calls, all those kind of things. And we would love for you to be a part of our great and growing community and movement that is bringing humanity together. And also, if you're interested in joining a team in our pillars of bringing humanity together, which is rooted in leadership, human development, health and wellness, family, community, and strengths and values, please reach out to myself and message me, and we'll put you in front of a team leader in those pillars and create great and engaging conversations around that and so much more. Like I said, if you'd like to know more about that, just let me know. And also, if you want to even know more about bringing humanity together, we have an open team meet and greet call on Mondays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to join those calls, please send me a message straight away and we'll make that happen. Now, this Monday coming up, we won't have it due to Christmas because Christmas is on a Monday, which is unusual, is it not? So we're going to have that kind of postponed until next Monday after that. But that'll probably be New Year's Day. So we'll just have to figure out if that's going to be viable for a lot of people because people like to take a long extended weekend off, even on New Year's weekend. So we just have to talk about that and see if that's what we'll do. But we'll just see how that goes and pans out moving forward. But like I said, we're just so humbled and honored to have each and every single one of you here today. So can't wait to have the great and engaging conversation with you all. So we are live and ready for our guest to show up. Um, so we are going to be ready for her when she shows up and saying that we are live. So sending messages out to everyone so they can start joining. Um, so can't wait to have Alaina join us here in just a little bit. So we can't wait to hear from her and her great and powerful story in and of itself. So, like I said, we're just so humbled and honored to have all of you here with us today. And again, if you want to even come share your story on Conversations for Humanity, if you're watching on LinkedIn, it is in the comment section of today's post and live stream. So go check it out there. And we would love for you to come share your story with us on Conversations for Humanity. So, like I said, we'll be starting the call here in just a minute. And we'll be getting this party started, as they say. And I just can't say enough. And I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, This year has truly been phenomenal for all of us here at Bring Humanity Together. And our community is growing, our movement is growing, and it's literally in no small part due to all of you. You guys are tuning in and really engaging with us and having those great and amazing conversations to not only lead into great outcomes, but taking upon yourselves to really create action for those outcomes and everything like that. So I just truly believe something is really going to be really magical moving forward. And like I said, can't wait to see how that plays out moving forward. So, like I said, can't wait to have all of you here in this great and growing community movement and team that is bringing humanity together. Like I said, it's just mind blowing how all this has started way back in 2017. And it's by me simply sharing my vision, sharing my story, sharing what I can see to what we can do here at Bring Humanity Together. And a lot of more people are just coming on board, one conversation at a time, one opportunity at a time, even that one moment in time. And it's just really, it is just constantly progressing forward each and every single day. And I just truly believe, like I said, when that really truly occurs, it is just really a mind boggling how we have done this from what most traditional businesses have started on. They always have started on in a product and service kind of dynamic. And I said to myself, no, we're not going to do just a product and service. No, 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 no. We wanted to start it from a following kind of dynamic, because if you build a following, I truly believe the products and services to come thereafter. Because again, if you can be able to have people see and believe what you see and believe, and just take it for what it is versus what it's not, and then in turn, then you can be able to see or even believe what they see and believe, and just take it for what it is versus what it's not. You can build a great foundation and a great opportunity to build upon and work off of, to create not only more opportunities, create thriving opportunities, create growth, create insight, create knowledge. I mean, there's so much things that are there in and of itself. So I'm just so humbled and honored to have all of you are on this call today. And again, here is the link for you to come share your story. It's at Calendly.com at guest at BHT/CFH. And if you'd like to come share your story on Conversation for Humanity, we'll be so humbled and honored for you all to be here. So, like I said, I just can't wait to have our guest join us here in just a second. I'll just send her a message. So, come join the call already. So just waiting on her, and we'll get this bad boy started, and then we'll be good to go. So already we have 5 people watching. Thank you so much. And if you guys who are watching right now, if you'd like to join the call, all you have to do is click the comment section, because there are two posts in there that says link to the call, and you'll see that StreamYard link. If you guys want to click that link and join the call, please click that link now, and I'll get you in the call. And already someone's already chiming in saying, hi, Francine. All right, so Francine must be here in the call. I can't see it as of yet, and everything like that. But again, everyone, go to the comment section of the live stream, copy and paste that into your browser, and that will take you to our StreamYard green room, and we would love for you to join the call today. So, like I said, I just sent a message to our guest, and hopefully she'll be joining us here momentarily. But like I said, we would love to have you join the call too as well. So please click that link Like I said, it will be at StreamYard.com, and it will have a link on to that. So, in fact, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it and share it with everybody so you guys can join the call. Here is the link to the call, and I'll put it. And also for those who are on YouTube, I'll be posting all our community links and social media in just a little bit once we get started on the call. So here is the link to join the call. And this is for coming onto the show. So here it is. It's at StreamYard.com. So that may not look right. So I'll just do it one more time. So maybe that looks a little bit better. So we'll post it here like this. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. The other one, it didn't look it. So it was running into each other. So there's a StreamYard link, and that's where you can join the call. So like I said, we would love for y'all to join us. I know, like I said, we're now at 7 people now joining the call. Thank you all so much for joining. And now we're at 8. We would love to hear from you guys. So please, like I said, I'm putting it in the comment section of the call right now. So please, here's that link to join the call for all those on LinkedIn. Here it is. Go. Yeah, Francine, come join us. Michelle, come join us. We would love to have you both on the show. So please come join us. So and hello, Crystal. How you doing?
Been better, but wanted to come in and support and be here.
Yeah, Francine, come join us. Michelle. Alrighty. And here is our special guest today. All the way from looking for the phone. That's unusual. Looking for the phone. Okay, with a little cat on it.
I mean, I'm here. I'm trying to get out of the live on my phone.
Trying to jump onto your computer?
I'm on my computer. I had the live open and it's not letting me leave.
All you have to do is just shut down your phone.
I'm not shutting down my phone, Chris.
Oh, okay.
I just had to close this out.
Okay.
But how's it going? All right. I think we are good to go. Yeah, I wasn't anticipating. I guess I shouldn't have checked beforehand. I wasn't anticipating being on video.
Well, that's why I sent you the link, so you knew how to get on and all that kind of stuff. So
you look fine, sweetheart. Don't worry about that. You look good. Yep. I love the purple lipstick, by the way. I usually sport purple. You can ask Chris.
Yeah. I got a lot going on, Chris. So
that's all right. No worries. We're glad that you're here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, Alaina, for coming sharing your story with us here on Conversation for Humanity. And we're glad that you are. So how's your day gone so far?
Not too bad. Just like I said, I thought I was prepared, and then of course it just is what it is. Now I'm here.
There you go. Hello, Michelle. How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Hello, beautiful.
Hi, Crystal.
Long time no see. I'm glad to see you today, though.
All righty. We're glad that you are here too, Michelle. It's been a while since we talked last. Glad you can join us.
Thank you.
So, Elena, since you are our special guest today, we would love for you to share your story with us on Conversations for Humanity. So the floor is yours.
Sure thing. Can you give me like 2 minutes? Because now I need a charger
Okay,
for,
not a problem. We'll
yeah, I
do that.
need the charger for my camera.
All right. We will do that. Absolutely. No worries. No worries. So, Michelle, how things are going with you?
Good, thank you. I've just finished writing in another book, in a Rattled Awake Volume 5. So I'm a little bit exhausted. I will tell you, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But another bestseller, which is really great. And now I'm working tomorrow right through till Friday. So it's late here in South Africa. So, but I'm here. I'm here. I had a nice chat with Keith earlier. So about some really great things that are happening with Bring Humanity Together. And I'm really looking forward to assisting wherever I can.
Oh, we got some updates for you, Michelle. That we cannot. We got updates out the wazoo.
Oh, amazing. I'm looking really, really forward.
Yeah,
I really,
absolutely,
really am.
absolutely. So again, like I
Absolutely.
said, we're so humbled and honored to have all you are here today. Like I said, Francine, please join us. Just use the link, and we will love for you to join on the call as Elena is getting everything worked out for her appearance. And there she is. She is ready to rock and roll this bad boy. So, Elena, if you could do us the honor of sharing your story with us here on Conversations for Humanity.
Sure. So I am Alaina. I am an explainer, video animator for the cannabis and e-commerce industries. So my background's mainly been in like content marketing, copywriting, campaign strategy development, something else, brand storytelling. So I've mainly been in the cannabis industry, like I said, and starting to work with other types of businesses. But, we talk about bringing humanity together. A big thing about cannabis, other than cannabis, weed, marijuana, other than just getting high, I go along with the belief that it is any use, any type of consumption is an attempt or desire to have therapeutic or medicinal use because we do have an endocannabinoid system which does that's what is responding to the plant, so that is what brings us to homeostasis. And I ended up consuming because i had a, I wasn't having much progress as far as addressing depression, anxiety, and I guess just fully understanding myself as like a highly sensitive individual and how like I've been overstimulated throughout my life. So by consuming the plant and then learning about how it was saving people's lives and also just saving people's lives, helping people to reconnect with themselves and really just joining the industry was my maybe not the first time, but maybe just for a more soulful level, finding community amongst people who welcomed me and really supported what I was doing as a marketer and telling their stories, telling their brand stories, but also, sharing that piece of how the plant has changed lives, to really change the narrative about it and to change the overall stigma and everything. So that got me into, entrepreneurship, but I'd say it did lead me to this organization bringing humanity together because I guess I had a mental concept of people being together, kumbaya, being peaceful and everything, but to really just, I was just planning to smoke my weed and write blog posts and pay my bills, but to really find how the work that I was doing was impacting people on an emotional level, but then also helping people who were just starting to get to know about the plant and how to improve their lives with it and explore the different aspects of it, it really helped me to understand the actual impact that I have on people. And like I said, being a highly sensitive person, I mean, being a creative as well, there's a lot of emotions that come with that. And my say my family isn't very emotional. Like they can be moody and angry, but that sensitive part of me wasn't really received. But that's like poking somebody, essentially telling me not to feel is like poking somebody's eyes out. It's how I can navigate the world. It's how I navigate relationships and how I navigate things is being able to feel and feel through people, feel through situations, feel through what environments work best for me, and then really to understand um, just how unique my experience is for my family as my, I'm clearly black and my parents grew up impoverished and most of our family's been impoverished, but they were able to, build a foundation as in high middle class Baltimore and everything, which has led to me being a someone they kind of struggle to connect with because I don't have those experiences. I more so am just in a more grounded place where I'm able to explore emotions and able to explore different parts of life as opposed to being concerned about survival when you step outside your door every morning. So, yeah, that's really my standpoint. And I guess the last thing for me is well, I've always been into animation. Last week, I had gotten into how animation, I mean, it's a reflection of humanity. We're all social creatures and we all have our strengths and weaknesses. So I do walk a relatively solo path, but I know I know what I want to do and what I don't want to do. I know when to delegate. I know when to accept help when I need it. And everything that we're a part of and everything that we're building requires different pieces. Just like in animation, what I'm doing is relatively crazy for my service, I guess, is because I'm doing all the parts that are different jobs, like doing the copywriting, doing the storyboarding, doing the animation, being the sound designer, finding the music, getting into voiceover, putting it all together, editing the video, because I'm also positioning myself as an animation director, which is a part of bringing that all together. But I also love all these aspects before a greater production. All those are different jobs. Those are multiple jobs. There's multiple character designers, there's multiple animators, there's multiple storyboard artists. So if you're watching like a 90-minute film, that took 2, 3 years to put together with 50, potentially 50 to 100 people working on that. And you go to the theater, and even if you go to the theater was built by multiple people. The theater is run by a manager. Your experience getting your ticket, that's an employee. Getting your popcorn, that's an employee. Where did the popcorn come from? A company. Like these are all pieces that we don't really think about, but it is the foundation of humanity, is all our different efforts coming together to create an experience. So yeah, that's my piece.
So let me ask you, Elena, how did you even get into animation in the first place? How did that journey start for you?
Um, it's like it's always Dragon Ball Z. When I was like, because I got my degree in Japanese. Actually, I'm not fluent in Japanese anymore, so that's not even a question. But when I was, I mean, even as like a little kid, most of us we were introduced to Disney, but the turning point was when seeing American cartoons, seeing all that, and then seeing Japanese animation where it's just the aesthetic is different and the what is it? I guess the challenges they just push the envelope on the level of just work that can be done with animation. So I was loosely hanging around it since, like I said, I was interested as a kid. That's when I started drawing and writing my own stories. And I was intimidated by it because, like, yeah, you're making drawings move. And I'm just like, oh my God, I could never do that. And that's a story that I kept telling myself pretty much up until recently. That's like, oh, I got to wait till this time and maybe I can learn how to do this. But like the art element was just always there. It's just when I started pursuing illustration or getting interested in illustration as a career, that came from like I was in the like Japanese animation, but also video games. So there's this game Street Fighter, but like Street Fighter's been around since the 1980s. But I'd gotten this art book that has like all the character designs because with each iteration of the game, they have different character designs, they have different environment designs. And I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. But again, I was intimidated by it. But I guess to fully start moving into animation may have been after college. I started because I wasn't brave enough to do art in college, but I was starting to make connections online. I mean, I've been making friends online since I was 6 years old. So when I was in college, I started connecting with different artists on Facebook, and I started meeting artists who were actually working in the animation industry. And just from that proximity, it started to become more and more of a reality. But as I learned more about the animation industry, it is a very grueling, highly competitive industry where the artists aren't, they tend not to be paid well after you finish a film or TV series, you got to find a new job because that production's done. And to pour so much into developing those skills, I do think it is like a testament of will. But what turned me off from it is pouring so much into developing these skills, but you're making somebody else's story. And then, like, I've seen a lot of these artists grow over time. They're able to make a good amount of money, they're able to make a living, but it requires so much work to just make a living that is just something, it just didn't sit well with me. So when we get to me getting into the cannabis industry, it was because I still wasn't confident as an illustrator, and I'd gotten an illustration coach, and I'm like, hey, I want to make $60,000 a year. And he's like, oh, that's not realistic to be able to do that in a year or 2 years or 3 years. And I'm just like, what? So then I came across copywriting, and like seeing the copywriting ads, they're like, you could be making six figures in a year. And I'm just like, so I can do that as a writer, but I can't do that as an artist. So that's why I got into copywriting, was originally that I would be able to work up to working 10 to 20 hours a week and spend more time on my art. But pretty much I made my own training where working in cannabis, I was able to learn more about businesses, learn about business value, all the marketing terms and stuff like that, where that was from like August 2018. So pretty much up until 2021, because I started developing notoriety and people were looking for me for work. I'm just like, I don't want to be known for, I don't want to be known as a copywriter anymore, because that's not something I'm passionate about. And then I meet so many people, and I did so many interviews with people who were invested in what they were doing. And I'm just like, I don't want people to keep coming to me for work. And this was after I got a celebrity gig. And I'm just like, cool, I did that. But it wasn't like, I'm like, I don't really care. So maybe I need to make the shift. So at that point, I was able to like bridge the gap on how art can solve business problems. So for what stuck out for me was, I'm writing the blog post for cannabis, and I'm also a consumer. So I'm educating myself while I'm getting paid to write for other people. But there were times where it's like there weren't any visuals explaining things. And I'm just like, I can't really understand this. I'm sure other people are having trouble understanding these concepts because it's a blog post. It's just writing. You can understand, but so much without an actual concrete example. So then I was like, oh, now I have a use for art. Then because of the funding issues in the industry, I was like, oh, and this is like a service that I'm bringing back next year. But it's, oh, I could take my art and help brands come up with their own visual and help them to develop their own merchandise line so that they have another stream of income that's not being blocked because they're a plant touching business. So then I just, from that point, it was, well, if I can do this with, if I can do this with illustration, then I started looking at how businesses were using animation, and my animating skills aren't like that amazing, but the stuff I was seeing, I'm just like, y'all are getting paid four figures for this mediocre shit. I can do this. So let me take the chance to do it. And that's where I am today. Is, I figure I can, I'll get better with time. I'll charge more with time. But at the end of the day, it's, I understand the business value of what I'm offering now, as opposed to, oh, I just want to draw. It's no, it's, I'm doing this for my own desire to I basically wanted to develop a service where I'm increasing my mastery on a skill I actually care about, but I'm also able to, especially where the industry is now, it like it's, there's the racial issues, there's political corruption, there's greed, America, but there's just this um drop in morale that's happened over the years being in the industry, and it's different from what my experience was getting into it. So then it was also, I can take this thing that I'm passionate about and help companies tell stories in more of a uplifting way. It's like, yeah, there are these political issues, there are these legal issues, there are, like in Maryland's industry, there's the issue with, there's monopolies, that whatever companies have the largest amount of money, they're influencing the politicians, and that's impacting the market. Okay, how can, I don't have it in me to be outraged anymore. Like, I'm tired of being pissed. I'm pissed about things on my own time. And so I'm like, okay, what can I bring that is going to make an emotional impact? Because again, from a business standpoint, business is relationships. Business is just human relations. Energy and emotion impacts us to such a strong degree. So how do I do that with animation and for other businesses? And yeah, that's my whole spiel.
So I love this. Greatly appreciate it. It's an awesome story. And I know we got to dive in more into a lot of it, but I go to you, Michelle, who between you and Crystal working on Rattled Awake, what's your take on Alaina's story?
Well, Alaina, I love your lipstick, by the way. It's awesome. Purple, I love it.
You're the second person to tell her that.
It's freaking amazing. I love your story. And I'm actually an illustrator myself from the 80s. So I'm struggling to get work. So I understand you saying when you have projects and then it just stops, and then to get projects again. But what has been developing along the way is I don't know if that was your doorbell going.
I'm good.
Writing stories, and I got really involved with Dr. New and Crystal. We all wrote a story in the same volume 3 together, and I participated in a note to my family in that anthology series, book as well. And then in volume 5, Rattled Awake. So at the moment, I have 3 books, all bestsellers at the moment. And in my last story that I wrote, I am actually coming out saying to people, I need you to bring me your story. My last story was no regrets. We're walking around carrying regrets in our life. And I went through a scenario where I was adopted and I only found out at 30. And I'm saying to people, you now need to put this in writing. Whether you've met your child or not, before you leave one day, put your story down. It's very, very important. And I'll be there to help through the story and also capture that and then also help with the illustrations. Need be. And then also for those who have the walk and talk like I have, I've closed a cycle. And I'm now not stuck in life. I do not have those regrets. I now have 6 brothers and sisters. My family is huge. But still, at the end of the day, I'm all about art with heart. So, and I want to carry people's stories big time. So I love what you're doing. I love the fact of cannabis. I do believe it's a fantastic product, and it's not out there enough. I believe it has a hang of a lot of health qualities in a lot of avenues. And do you know what? Because society didn't say so yesterday, it was allowed, and now it is allowed. It's crazy what society does to us, and this is all about bringing humanity together and in helping, not having regrets, bringing the natural things back to life again, which is amazing. And it's amazing that you can bring that out as well in such a creative manner as well. And it needs to happen. And I mean, Dr. News in the pharmaceutical side, so I'm sure she's got a lot to say about that. and Crystal, I mean, it was just such an awesome experience to do Rattled Awake with these two lovely ladies. And a note to my family was really, really awesome because obviously I had a story to tell. Um, but it has been a journey, and I keep on striving to carry on with artwork and bring those hearts and let you pour it out and get your story out there so there's no regrets in life. Thank you, Chris.
Crystal, what's your take on Alaina's story?
I love all of it, to be completely honest. As a person who uses cannabis for not only my anxiety, but for also pain issues, I love what you're doing and everything. Personally, I use a lot of the CBDs for
Mm-hmm.
it, and I keep begging the CBD place near me to get a vendor for the honey sticks because
Mm-hmm.
for some reason the honey mixed with the CBDs, especially the Delta 8, really helps with my sciatica pain. So I love what you're doing with helping get awareness out and everything else. I mean, just different strains do different things to help you both mentally, physically, and even if it's just relaxing, like the difference between sativa and indica and then the hybrids, all of that, getting the knowledge out there is great. And I love the fact that you're trying to bring animation into it to help people understand, because you can have all these clinical terms and normal, like just everyday Joes aren't really going to understand all these clinical terms that they try to put on the boxes and everything. So having, just some pictures or an animation explaining it, like even just a silly cartoon explaining the difference between the sativa and the indica and different things, is a great thing. I love the fact that you're combining all of it. And like again, like Michelle was saying, I said it already, that lipstick I love. And art is in everything. I mean, art is in cooking, it is in singing, music, drawing. I've never been able to fully draw freehand, but I've shared plenty of times the phoenix that I paint. I have a stencil of it, but I still have made it into mine with the different shadings and the way that I paint with that stencil. Just because it starts off with a base doesn't mean that it's not my artwork at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I love what you're doing, and I would really love to have another conversation with you about like just your animation and stuff, because I have friends that work in video games and things like that that would probably love to meet you and possibly work with you in the DBZ thing. Absolutely. uh, DBZ was a big part of my childhood. I'm more of a Soul Eater fan now at this point, but Studio Ghibli is all, yeah, I love it. So I love what you're doing, and the fact that you figured out kind of where you want to be at such a young age. I'm 40 and I'm just now figuring out where I want to be.
Oh,
you know,
it's only 6 year difference. Well,
you look a
pretty much.
lot younger.
Well, I guess more so 5. I'll be 35 next month, so not too far off.
But yeah, the fact that you have like taken your passion and you're trying to help people with it is a great thing. That's what we're all about here in building humanity together. We're trying to bring everybody together under one banner and be accepting of everybody's situation and who they are as a person, not their sexuality, not their color, not their anything. We are all human. We all bleed red. We all deserve kindness, loving, and, acceptance. So, and being, a pothead, to put it plainly, that's what we're all about as potheads. We just want to be able to chill and hang out and just have good conversations and play video games or watch movies and just appreciate each other. So I love it.
Thank you.
So, Dr. New, what's your take on Alaina's story?
So good afternoon or good evening, those who are watching us. Hi, Chris, Michelle, Christos, and all my sisters and Alaina now. I truly believe, wow, it's back to everything that happens for a reason. And I truly see, as far as CBD or when you talk about cannabis, right? From a perspective for myself, I see not only, I don't represent any company, I don't endorse anything, but I truly believe because it's all plant based, right? There is so much value when you're talking about the potency. So with everything, it's all about moderations. When you talk about treatment modalities, like the THC, right? The tetrahydrocannabinoid. When you talk about those that are in, when we're looking at the chemical structures, it's all about what percentage and what ingredients will give, let's say pain management, whether it's mental health to have the anxiety and stress, people going, PST, like appetite, suppressant as, people who are trying to use that as a, like, curb their appetite, right? To help them. So in some time, it also stimulates an appetite. So it depends on what, I guess if you mix in different formulation, because I deal with, in my past ventures, I formulate, right? I do, formulation on different, not only as the final product, but also formulate in other chemicals to make it enhance the product, to enhance the side effect. So I totally see, epilepsy, like seizure, to help people with sleep. We talk about pain, we talk about mood and inflammation. We can go on and on about what's good. It's just when someone's willing to be open, willing to try, to kind of pique your curiosity and let me try to see what it will do for me, but without having a notion of it will work, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to try it again. That is where I think, in the commonality is that with anything, just be open to try and give it a shot and see how it do for you, but also educate yourself, right? Where the source come from, and I think it's all about the like trust factor. When people know about you, they buy from you, not buy the product, right? Like, so I truly believe there is a treatment or prevention and things to help people deal with, because as pharmaceutical people don't want you to be get out of it, right? Because it's you have to be on it. Without it, you can't live. And that's the withdrawal, the side effect of withdrawal when you're taking a narcotic, a painkillers. that when you're so high up and you keep on taking the level of your pain tolerance, you become numb to it. So it's you got to have that balancing and knowing when and how to use, and find the expert to really walk you through and be there as your loving family and sister and brother. So that way it's not just making money. And I think that is really how we can bridge and bring humanity together and bring all the expert and all the tools and, to kind of help people. That's my take on it.
I agree with you. That's I guess that's the pervasive thing in the industry is just patience over profits.
Yeah.
Saying because it's I don't know. Like I said, I get kind of exhausted, or I used to get exhausted by just all the issues in the industry. But yeah, when it comes to the pharmaceuticals, I haven't super educated myself on the science, but I do know when I was writing the content, and even like people I've known who are dealing with chronic pain, just because you're consuming cannabis doesn't mean you can just stop taking the pharmaceuticals. But
Yeah.
the THC and the CBD can enhance I guess, what the bioavailability of the whatever is
So,
helping, like of the narcotic or whatever is helping is in the pharmaceutical. Combining, you have to work with a doctor, and that's why I do tell people if they're thinking of taking tinctures or stuff like that for pain or any other kind of issues, it's you can't just take that on top of your medication or take that on top of anything that you're already taking. You need to work with a doctor because there's still some chemistry and science happening in your body where you can thus increase the potency of the narcotic that's already in your body by taking THC, and then you put yourself in danger. So there is still that middle ground of working with pharmaceuticals, working with the conventional science and everything. And we'll see what'll happen as things legalize. Like I guess the feds are gradually loosening as they figure out how to make money off of it. But it's I don't know. I would like to see where maybe one day American culture will stop being so black and white when there's always going to be gray areas. There's always going to be a transitional period where you may still have to take whatever opiate for the rest of your life. It's just at a smaller dose if you're consuming the cannabis. There's just a lot of different things as opposed to there's not just one answer. And I think that's why cannabis creates some friction. And even like when it comes to creativity, it creates friction in our culture because it's not just, there's no one answer. We're all individuals. Our bodies are different. All our needs are different. And, when we get to money, it's greed comes from a sense of lack. It's money's made up, so we can always get more of it. And getting ourselves out of the mindset that just because I'm an artist, I can't make this amount of money. Because I'm in this industry, I can't make this amount of money. It's
The
being able,
stereotypes need to go away is basically what you're saying, and I think
yes,
we all agree.
Yes, the stereotypes and the mindset behind it, where it's again where I was fed this notion that I can't make a living as an artist when really, no, I can't make a living as an artist if I don't have business acumen, if I don't know what problems that I'm solving. So like what Michelle was talking about, where you're looking for the jobs, it's what I learned from being a copywriter, which I had almost an constant work because of how I learned to position myself. I wrote for a national publication in the industry, and all I had to do was just name drop that, and people would want to work with me. Or based off of my relationship with the client, I was able to get into a conference because this one woman who did videos in the industry, I reached out to her about doing blog posts, and she just happened to be like one of the co-founders or one of the founders of this conference, and she got me into that conference for free. And then because I was a cannabis writer in Maryland, I was like positioning myself as like I mean, I probably still am the best writer in Maryland for cannabis. But as I was making connections with that, there was a guy, he's originally from Jersey, but he was like in the DMV area. So we met at a networking event, and then he ended up doing like business development for like the National Cannabis Industry Association. So because we knew each other and we spoke at like a networking event, he got me into that conference for free, just based off of, well, also because of a press pass, because I was doing the journaling. So it's also, I'm providing a perspective. I'm still providing value. People want to know my perspective, or people, I mean, I didn't like it, but sometimes you play the game where I'm a Black woman. So it's like, okay, I interview Black women in the industry. I talk about their businesses. I talk about their organizations, which puts me in, there's not many people who look like me who are doing what I'm doing, or not that many from Maryland, not that many people in Maryland. So it's like knowing how to position yourself. I mean, it's, I think it's a part of life, but now I view like everything's business. But again, business is, if you view it from business as relationships, business is helping to solve problems. And to stand out in business, I mean, we're all individuals. It's just knowing how we stand out that's valuable to somebody. So just again, to you, Michelle, or even you, Crystal, if you want to make a living with your art, and aside from making your own products, if you want to serve somebody and do commissions or do a service for a business, it's, yeah, look for, if there's, look at lucrative businesses, but see what they're missing, see what their audiences need, because that's what creativity is. We're filling in gaps, we're creating like a new perspective on things. Like, again, with me getting into the illustration, I found out about this thing called visual noting, where people draw out notes. There was like graphic recording where they'll go to conferences and they'll just visualize the notes of like key speakers, or maybe even the panels or workshops and stuff. And they'd get hired for that. Or there's this other organization in Singapore that I was kind of starting to base my business off of, where they work in fintech, and they get paid to do like these huge murals where they paint them, or like just draw in marker, visualizing these financial tech concepts. And people love it. People take pictures in front of them and want to hire them. So it's like, at the end of the day, that's still art. It's just being able to, again, put it in a business paradigm, or just what problem that you're solving, and seeing, especially if you look in industries where that's not happening. So it's making your own opportunities. We're creatives. We can make everything's made up. That's why I keep having to remind myself, everything is made up. The computers we're on, being on StreamYard, somebody made that up. So it's just having the confidence in ourselves to play the game and figuring out how we can make something up that's of value to other people.
You said it perfectly right there. Play the game.
Games are supposed to be fun.
Yes, but in the business world, that's all it is playing a game. And who ends up being better, who can catch everybody's eye in a way that nobody else has before. It's like creating your own little cheat code, in a sense. If you really think about it, in a game, it's creating your own cheat code by making your brand stand out more than anyone else's, to put it plainly. And I love what you're saying. Unfortunately, with my line of work, as a domestic violence awareness advocate and such, it's a little harder to use my art in a way that won't activate somebody, except for my Phoenix drawings and things like that, the things that uplift. So, but I do appreciate that, what you're saying, and would love to chat with you outside of this, because I actually have a few ideas I want to run by you now after hearing you talk and everything.
Yeah,
So
hit me up on LinkedIn.
absolutely.
And what really strikes me, Alaina, is what you really have gone down that road was literally not a singular event. It was multiple things that has come along the way that it told you maybe that one day you pivoted this way, and then the next day it may said, "Hey, this is where the opportunity is," and everything like that. In your journey, not only in animation but literally in business and beyond, have you taken those opportunities as what they truly are, as literally gifts in and of itself? Number one, and then number two, did you actually use those not only for your benefit, but actually flip it around to actually make it a benefit for someone else too as well?
So, I mean, I guess I did see them as a gift because it's. Cause I'm trying to think of like an analogy. I didn't plan to do any of this. So
Right?
it's like I didn't even plan to be in the cannabis industry. I didn't plan to be a writer. It's essentially, I guess, things kind of fell into place because my mission or the underlying thing that had to happen with me was I had to learn to believe in myself as an artist, which was
Mm-hmm.
something like I didn't, it really hasn't been to like the past 2 years I've been even comfortable calling myself an artist because I think there's a cultural trauma that comes with being an artist. Like people like what we do, but they don't like us. And having carried that is like that push and pull. So everything, yeah, it has been a gift. I appreciate it because again, when my plan was I was just gonna sit. I wasn't even planning to be seen on the internet because I used to have really bad social anxiety. That wasn't part of the plan. The plan was I'm gonna write these blog posts. I'm gonna smoke my weed and I'm gonna draw some pictures, and that was it. But as things just kind of started happening, and that was before I didn't even know anything about manifestation or any of that stuff. So now I'm like trying to get to a place where I'm not overcomplicating now that I know these concepts. But it was like I was manifesting. It was, all right, I want to make a living writing blog posts. Maybe I'll get to writing some websites. And I started on Upwork to, build my portfolio. And then I paid for like a cold email. Yeah, it was like a cold emailing course, but it's from this woman who has succeeded as like a blog copywriter. So I was following her model on how to do things. So once I got the gig with the publication Leafly, that really was just because that was also a part of it was make sure to pitch to publications. So I got on LinkedIn and I found a Leafly editor and I'm just like, oh, I wonder how complicated it is. So it's just like I took the template, put my own sauce on it, and this lady's just like, oh, those sound like great ideas. Here's my email. And I'm like, it's that easy. And so I emailed her. Then, of course, having my own little frets, like, oh my God. Like flipping out, writing these blog posts and these articles. So it took me longer to get them done. So I sent them to her. And I had also pitched to her about adding illustrations to them, but I didn't follow through with that, didn't have the courage to do that at that time. So I just wrote the blog posts or I wrote the articles. Those got published. And then I got paid, and I'm just like, what? This is crazy. So then there was a CBD site that I'd bought vapes for before I joined the industry. And I was like, oh, they were useful. They kind of popped up on Google as soon as I found them. So I decided to reach out to them. And I'm like, hey, notice you don't have regular blog posts. Once again, using templates. I've written for Leafly. Okay, you're hired. We want you. And I'm like, what? This is so crazy. And it's like I followed the directions. I did like my own sourcing. I still had to plant the seed for the gifts to come in. They didn't just come in without me doing anything. Like I got my first dispensary job, writing for a dispensary. That was from me pulling up a list of all the dispensaries in Maryland, going to almost every single, I mean, I don't remember how many dispensaries were open in like December, November 2018. It was probably like less than 50. But I still pulled up the entire list of dispensaries, went to all their websites, looked for all the emails, sent all of them emails, tweaked them slightly, of course, because I was using a template, but was being specific to, oh, you haven't updated your blog post. Oh, you don't have a blog going. And I got a response, ended up having like a 4-year relationship with that dispensary. And it just so happened that their vice president she's deeply like the president of the company. He's usually lobbying up in Annapolis, so that's our capital and where, government stuff is happening. So he's usually lobbying up there. One of the VPs, she's a part of 2 major organizations in the Maryland cannabis scene. And so they're dispensary, so they're partnered with different vendors, so different, because they don't have their own cannabis, so they get it from the different vendors and their partners. So pretty much I could ask her and she'd make an introduction to anybody. Ooh. So it's just based off of the fact that I was just putting in the work that the opportunities came in, but also learning from those experiences, because that led to me, and I was posting on Instagram, so that led to me getting work in Maryland, and I don't even know where the CBD guy is. I think Arizona. I got Canadian clients. I've had clients from Colorado. I got a random client, like just from me properly writing my LinkedIn profile, again from that course. I was attracting people, ended up working with a German company. Then they turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. That's the funniest thing in the world to me. But I mean, I still got paid, but found out like it came out a year or 2 ago that they were actually a Ponzi scheme in the cannabis industry. And there's still, oh, that was an international client that I had. But all of that came from me still putting myself out there despite how scared I was or how overwhelmed I was. But that also taught me, because clients were then referring people to me, that as I started developing relationships and I'd encounter people in the industry or people looking to get into the industry, it's like if they talked about a specific segment, I'm like, oh, I know so and so. Let me set up an introduction. Oh, I know so and so. Let me set up an introduction. I don't feel like doing this type of work. I'm moving out of this type of work. I mean, yeah, it's like I'm not doing this type of work anymore. You can do this type of work. Or I've had these type of opportunities, especially for people who are looking for ways into the industry. I would tell them, like, what do you want to be good at? And I was able to just get in not really loving what I did. I knew how to write. I knew I was a good writer and I could do the work. So I would help coach people where it's like, oh, there was this one chick I was talking to, she wanted to write scripts. So I'm like, there's companies that need video, that do video, they need video scripts. So position yourself as a video script writer. You want to do photography, especially for Black and brown women, it's like, well, there aren't really that many stock photos of us. So go take photos, you can sell those photos. Or I think there was someone down in Florida. I'm like, okay, why don't you make yourself known in Florida's industry as the go-to photographer for certain things? So I would help people, especially because I just learned that I guess it's a creative eye to see gaps in the market. I would notice if there's an opportunity. I would tell people, pursue this path. Let me know when you're set up, and then I can send people to you. So it's basically me receiving and me giving was based off of, again, the experiences that I had from the work that I put in, the things that kind of just fell into my lap, and learning that I can be that for somebody else.
I want to chime in. It's great that you share your story, and it's funny when a lot of people who haven't really find their purpose in life don't know and saying, "What is my calling, my purpose?" And sometimes when you're in that muddy water or whatever the black hole that we call, right? But once you're out of it, you realize the life give you it hits you, or when people say, why did life happens to me, it happens for you for a purpose, for a reason. Everything that happened for you, there's not a coincidence. Things happen for you, even though those most struggling part of your life, but then once you get out of it, that is the one that you're passionate about, that you want to help those who are getting out so they are not in that positions. So that's like a lot of things that happen to you is for you. And then as you go through the journey, you're like, oh, that's my passion. And your purpose and your passion, your calling, and it can change, meaning evolve. It's not change. It's still who you are. It's just that now that phase of you helping is tap out on this, then you move on to the next thing. But it's still always there. So your true person of who you are is staying true to serving and giving others. Because when you give and you serve, you find, because when you hear the stories, it's finding innovation and find ways to solve a problem, right? To help people. That's what it's all about. And not everybody have that mindset, and not everybody have that gift. Some people is just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'll do it all day long. And you give me whatever that formula, right? They just want to know what that exact formula is and tell me how to do it. And I'm going to do A to Z. But there are some people who can't be like that. They're like, no, let me do it my way. I don't want to go do your way, So that is where, if we are really having that open mindset of learning, right? Keep on learning and finding what's out there, and that's where your creativity and things that and find the people that cheer you on, that even they support you even when you're down. That is when it's like they cheer you on, right? Not when you have millions of dollars or tons of things. They come and seek your help. And that is like the golden nuggets right there. It's for people who always see how you're successful now, but you didn't have all that things. All of us didn't have whatever we want to do now. It's all the journey that we go up and down, the peaks and valley, right? That we had to go through. And that is the thing that, and one of the other thing is, earlier you mentioned you're not going to deal with, we can look at all the negative and all the things that's bad, but when we look at it, there is possibility of being in a positive way, right? Meaning, even if there's politics, but what can you do now instead of focusing on the negative? Let's focus on the positive. What can you be the change, be the one who will be the innovative? And like right now, what you sharing the light on awareness on what CBD is doing for other people. And just to reiterate, people who are using that, like you saying, make sure they talk to their doctors, but also to their pharmacists who are filling their prescriptions. Make sure they tell them also in a not only, because people think it's only interaction when it's prescription medications, but also those who are like supplements, like vitamins, or like plant-based, or like herbals and things like that, and CBD. So, and then I think that's where the society needs to be open, so that way people can feel like they can have an open conversations to say, hey doc, I'm taking this CBD, it helps me, but I'm still taking your whatever their prescription on top of it. So they know and how to monitor, the patients and what you're doing. And it's all about working together, right? That is where whatever we're doing, let's work together. The doctors, the person, giving you that, and then the patient, all the triad, we all had to work together to find that, because everyone is very unique and the treatment modality is different. Like everybody, process things differently. Your body, your chemical structures, and what you take, one thing can knock you down. Some people take Benadryl, that you're supposed to put people to sleep. Some people take Benadryl and they don't go to sleep, even for a child. They'll be awake. So what is that to tell you? That is the things that is the odd of how it's supposed to work certain way, but it doesn't mean it always will. So that is with a caution, and always find someone to be trusted to say, hey, I'm taking this. What should I be looking out for, right? People who've gone there, done that, and have that on your phone to dial, because you don't want to take lightly, is what I'm saying. Because you don't want to think that, oh, it's nothing. It's not a prescription. I don't need to worry. That is where I think we need to also bring awareness. What Alaina just said, we need to be careful and talk to your doctor, but also to all the places that you feel prescription, all the supplements, your dietary, all that. come to play. So that is just a little thing that I want to make sure that everyone who's listening, so don't think that it worked and I don't need to tell anybody. I'll be secret and it worked for me. No, it needs to be out in the open, right? You need to have that open conversation because it's when life and things, when you're hurting or if you're bleeding, they need to know what you've taken in the past 24 hours. If you're bleeding because of so and so, so it's very crucial. That's a life saver to know all your lists, to have that active list with you. Like put people who don't know, carry it with them, have a list because people as you get older and, grandparents or our elder, parents who are either in dementia or like forgetful, even for us, sometimes we forget. We're like, what did I take? Or what am I supposed to be on? So need to have that list so that way you know exactly what it is to turn it in. So that way when they ask, we don't know, we don't panic. When we panic, we don't remember what it is. I love what you're doing, and lots of inspiration for lots of people to know that opportunities are out there, right, Chris and Michelle? And it's
Yeah.
what you want to take with it, right? And what your uniqueness, and there's so much out there for everybody.
Well said, Dr. New. Well said. Michelle, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, I was just going to say to Alaina, it took me 30 years to come out of myself after I studied. I'm now 54 and I turned my life around 2 years ago. So good on you for finding out that you're okay with art and trusting your heart in that. It took me 30 years, even though I'd done it parallel to all my work that I'd done in my life. I was in corporate signage, and in those days there weren't computers. So what I did was I did artwork on computers a lot. And obviously now I can. And then only in illustrating my books and doing it internationally, I out of my own combined the two techniques. So my technique is very special and it's very unique. And I know AI will battle to do that. So it's not easy to do my technique, and it comes with a lot of experience and many, many years. But I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I'd love to catch up with you as well. I think we'll have a lot to chat about. And as an artist, I too smoked cannabis for many years, and funny enough, just this year I stopped. And there's a lot of things in life. I mean, my mom had Alzheimer's too, and I tried it on her a bit. And, everything has a different effect on everybody. I know with people with Parkinson's as well, it's like really great. It helps them stop shaking. But you have to monitor everything. And I just know for myself, my creativity has definitely come to the fore. And I've done a lot of things that I'm not discussing right now. There's a lot of things under the table, if you know what I'm saying, in creativity that we all do. And like I was on LinkedIn and I was looking at people's stories and I was like, oh my word, and I would do artwork for them and I'd send it to them, because it would just enhance their stories. So there is that. Definitely, when it comes to an artist, we look at things very differently, and there are definitely big niches, and I'm certainly not looking where I need to be looking in life. Not enough, let's put it that way. But I know there's quality and specific things, but I've definitely ruled more by my heart in getting the art out for people, for their heart, and to get their words out, to marry the two, very much so. So blogging is actually brilliant, and it's something I never really thought about even. But yeah, and I really honor what you're doing, and I think it's flipping fantastic. And it's about time society actually catches a wake up, and you're doing something really awesome, and you've definitely caught in the niche and the changing of times. We take too long as society. We're always pointing fingers at things, and it needs to change, and it's not right. So good on you, and I'm good on you, really good on you. And it's awesome to see you again, New, and Chris. Chris, I must say to you, the whole time you're sitting there in your background, it looks like someone's got the head down on a table behind you.
It's a gator.
I'm like, what is that behind you? It's like it looks
Yeah,
like someone's moving the
that's the
table.
logo from University of Florida.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. At least I know that. But all of this is about bringing humanity together in a very creative way, and everybody's input. I mean, you with your pharmaceutical side, and the technical side of things. Yeah, creative people aren't that technical, but we're definitely very creative, and we can definitely know how to do that one, and definitely pull hearts out where it's needed. And Alaina, I'm really pleased I met you today. Yeah, I trust it won't be the last time we meet.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I will say is like being treated like there is like a distinction of being an artist. Like I've noticed the different reactions I got from when I was a writer to being an artist. Because writer, especially from like business friends I made, there's endless potential as a writer. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna do art. And they're like, oh, well, you need to build your audience. It's like, I don't why did this suddenly change? But it's like I guess that's the outlook is being creative. It's I have a big enough vision where I can just or if you have a malleable enough mind, and I guess this is where genius comes from, this is where we get innovation, is you just apply. I'm just taking what I learned from copywriting and doing it with art. But because
The
it's
same thing.
yeah, it's like, but because it's art. Oh, it's art. It's beyond our understanding. It's so many feelings. And I'm just like, or I can just draw the stuff that you would have wanted me to write. Like
There we go.
but if other artists can't put that together, if other people can't put that together, oh well, then that's my competitive advantage is that I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
Everything is transferable. Our skill sets are transferable wherever we go.
Yep.
It's universal.
It
It's
is.
industry or not.
Creating
Yes.
compositions. It's creating compositions. If that composition ain't gonna work in writing and or in art, it's a fuck up. Excuse my language. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Sorry.
So
You're good.
Yeah.
Alaina, we're just so humbled and honored that you have come shared your story with us and wanting to be a part of bringing humanity together. What will be your takeaways for people who want to end up saying, no, this is not for me, or this I can't do, or I can't achieve this because I'm only this, and they're telling me I have to be that. What will be something you'd like to share with people as we close out the call that really give people not only hope, but maybe find inspiration in not only what they already know, but maybe to uncap their potential to say, hey, I'm willing to step into the unknown to become known, because maybe if I become uncomfortable, then I can become comfortable because of the uncomfortableness. What would you like to say to them before we close out the call?
Okay, so I'll put like an asterisk disclaimer that, I have had the privilege of being able to figure it out because I've had the financial cushion of family. So if anything, make sure you get your guap up so that you have that financial cushion to cover everything to take the leap. I was just able, I mean, is that maybe is also my good looks and I'm charming and I'm able to get people to help me to do things. So, use what you got. But to what really stuck out to me was what Michelle was saying is, essentially all those thoughts that you're having of I can't do this because of this is because of thinking as a society. My main thing, and it took you 30 years to get the art. Well, it took me 30 years too, from the ripe age of 5 to get here. But it's like, and what Dr. Is it New was saying about come back to me. What you were saying about, oh yeah, purpose. and feeling like you have to find your purpose. My outlook has been, maybe it's a conviction that I'm convinced of, is everybody already knows their purpose. We already knew these things, but we're still looking for it because the whole society component, the indoctrination, the programming, the cultural, the family, the neighborhood, the city, the country, all basically other people's shit gets in the
Yes.
way of
Yes.
you. So if you're not, so this is like, I guess, an eternal mystery to me. My older brother, he died 10 years ago, but my mother and my family would always brag about how he always like did his own thing. Like he was into fashion. He would dress me up when I was, because we were 5 years apart. So he was dressing me up for his own fashion shows and his music videos since he was like 15. And then as he got older, he did fashion shows, he made clothes, he did all this stuff, and he was known for it. And he had a more robust personality. But I guess his thing was he made sure to leave the house to get away from my parents. I was stuck with them motherfuckers. So there wasn't, and I guess, him being him and not seeing the connection between us, or not really seeing the creative side of me, it's that he was able to maintain his personality and protect his personality and his purpose and what he wanted. I didn't develop enough courage in myself or enough identity of who I was to be able to push back against my environment.
Mhm.
So partially, I was able to get on this path because I couldn't leave without it. Like I would, and I think that's a part of why I developed anxiety, why I developed depression, was because all I would be thinking about is I'm in school. Man, I wish I was drawing. And then in college, I wish I was drawing with some dude. Man, I mean, he's cute. But I could be drawing right now. And it's like, but I wasn't living up to it because I didn't have that, because I didn't develop that sense of self and I had learned to reject myself. So partially what that comes from, where you're telling yourself I'm too old, or like once I cross the 30 threshold, because there's a societal thing of your life is over when you're 30, and being on TikTok and everybody under 30 crying, or being, because I go on Reddit too and I read threads and people are like, oh, I'm 22 and I can't do it. And I'm just like, what are you even talking about? So it's like, it's all these cultural aspects where you give up on yourself before you even know who you are, or before you're even confident in who you are. Like, I always had the pull to do art, but it's also because I think people can, like, I've been learning about, like I said, people like doing things for me sometimes based off of my charisma and my energy. But it's like, there's always been something about me that people can tell is different. So from throughout school until I pretty much got to college, I was an outcast because I didn't know what I was doing, but it apparently wasn't acceptable. But yeah, just I wasn't accepted by society. So there was also a part of me that was already rejecting society because I was already rejected. So of course I'm going to choose myself and start choosing more of my purpose if I'm being treated like I'm not the lined up with where society thinks I should be, or being who society thinks I should be. And then having that cognizance. And a part of like the depression was I wasn't listening to my body,
Right.
where I wasn't fully listening to my body, or I'd been taught to not listen to myself. So it's like I'd be in situations where people would be telling me certain things about myself. And I'm just like, who? That's
Yeah.
not me. Is that me? And yeah, it's really, at the end of the day, it's an identity thing. It's really getting to a point where you're starting to realize who is the person who was constructed, who you are constructed to be, and how you help to pour more of your energy into who you thought is acceptable versus who you actually are and who you want to be. But who you want to be is who you actually are anyway.
Right.
Like, I'm not perfect, I'm great at talking about it right now. Everybody's bezazzled, but I still struggle with this in my own time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Alaina, your story was truly powerful. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today. And again, thank you, Dr. New. Thank you, Michelle. And of course, thank you to all watching today. If you'd like to learn more about bringing humanity together, reach out to myself or to Dr. New or to Michelle or even Alaina, and they will get in touch with me, or you can reach out to me too as well. And if you want to be a part of our Conversation for Humanity storytelling hour here on Bringing Humanity Together, just reach out to me and I'll send you the link, and we'll love to have you share your story. So from all of us here at Bring Humanity Together, have a great day, make your day, and we'll see each other tomorrow on Humanity
Bye.
Happy Hour, the audio
Yeah.
script.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Elena. Bye, Michelle. Bye,
Yes,
Chris.
Elena.
Thank